María Corina Machado, Venezuelan opposition leader, wins Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Prize Committee recognized María Corina Machado, a Venezuelan opposition leader in hiding, for fighting for democracy in her country. The Norwegian Nobel Committee on Friday awarded its 2025 Peace Prize to María Corina Machado, the Venezuelan opposition leader who has become a symbol of democratic resistance against an increasingly authoritarian regime, even as she has been forced into hiding and barred from holding public office. Get concise answers to your questions. Try Ask the Post AI. The decision, announced in Oslo's Grand City Hall, elevates Machado, known as Venezuela's Iron Lady, from a besieged political figure in her own country to the world stage, joining the ranks of Nelson Mandela, Aung San Suu Kyi and other laureates who have challenged autocratic rule. Machado's location remains undisclosed for security reasons, though supporters say she remains in Venezuela despite arrest warrants and government accusations that she has conspired to destabilize the country. The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to a brave and committed champion of peace, to a woman who keeps the flame of democracy burning amid a growing darkness, the committee said, announcing the award. Globe showing America's. Follow World News. Follow. Machado, a fierce and longtime foe of Venezuela's autocratic president, Nicolas Maduro, swept the primaries ahead of the Venezuelan presidential election in 2024 with more than 92% of the vote. Despite a U.S.-brokered deal for competitive elections in Venezuela, Maduro blocked her from running. Still, in the months leading up to the July 2024 vote, Machado rallied large crowds across the country to motivate Venezuelans to vote for a stand-in for her, Edmundo González, even as the Maduro government repeatedly harassed and arrested her aides and anyone associated with her campaign. On July 28, 2024, Venezuelans voted overwhelmingly in favor of González, according to a Washington Post review of more than 23,000 precinct-level tally sheets collected by the opposition and the conclusion of other independent monitors. Maduro claimed victory in the election and refused to release the precinct-level results. In a remarkable logistical feat led by Machado and her team, the opposition managed to prove their own win, collecting the original receipts from more than 80% of voting machines nationwide with the help of thousands of regular Venezuelans stationed at polling sites. In more than a year since that historic vote, Machado has remained in hiding in Venezuela as the driving force of the opposition. The Maduro government has continued to arrest and jail scores of dissidents and her close allies. Machado herself was briefly detained in January as she left a rally in Caracas, a day before Maduro took office for a third term. An industrial engineer and daughter of a prominent steel businessman whose company was expropriated by former President Hugo Chavez, Machado is a staunch conservative. She rose to national recognition as a fierce critic of Chavez and once famously challenged him during his annual address to the Assembly in 2012, telling him expropriating is robbing. Chavez responded dismissively, "Aguila no caza mosca, the eagle doesn't hunt the fly." Democracy is a precondition for lasting peace. However, we live in a world where democracy is in retreat, where more and more authoritarian regimes are challenging norms and resorting to violence, the Nobel citation stated. The Venezuelan regime's rigid hold on power and its repression of the population are not unique in the world. We see the same trends globally: rule of law abused by those in control, free media silenced, critics imprisoned, and societies pushed towards authoritarian rule and militarization. In 2024, more elections were held than ever before, but fewer and fewer are free and fair. The committee made its selection against an unusual backdrop: U.S. President Donald Trump's increasingly public campaign to claim the prize for himself, an ambition that in recent days appeared to influence diplomacy in the Middle East. Trump has spoken openly about his desire to win the Nobel Peace Prize but also expressed skepticism that the committee would recognize him. "No, I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize no matter what I do, including Russia/Ukraine and Israel/Iran, whatever those outcomes may be," Trump wrote on Truth Social in June. Trump has cited his role in settling numerous conflicts, at times exaggerating his role or the extent of peace, but in any event has spoken out frequently about his desire to save lives. Trump's ambition became a factor in the Gaza ceasefire negotiations that culminated in an agreement reached 2 days before the Peace Prize announcement, officials in the region and Washington said. Several world leaders said they had nominated Trump for the prize. The committee, however, said none had affected its deliberations. In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think the committee has seen many types of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people saying what, for them, leads to peace, said the chair of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, Jørgen Watten Frydensen, on Friday addressing the Trump effort. This committee sits in a room filled with portraits of our laureates, he said. That room is filled with both courage and integrity. We base our decision only on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel. In its announcement, the committee struck a pointed tone about the global state of democracy, declaring that Machado's courage mattered especially in a world where democracy is in retreat. That phrase, and the choice itself, will be seen by some as calibrated to send a message not just to Caracas, but to Washington and capitals worldwide where democratic norms have come under strain. It may also be interpreted as an implicit rebuke to Trump, whose attacks on democratic institutions have alarmed democracy advocates. Trump's refusal to accept the 2020 election results, the January 6 riot at the U.S. Capitol, and his Justice Department's prosecutions of political opponents have drawn comparisons, however imperfect, to the autocratic playbook Machado opposes. Trump has also ordered the U.S. military to attack boats carrying alleged Venezuelan drug dealers, without providing evidence, prompting Venezuela to request an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council and to accuse Trump of seeking to topple Maduro. Hendricks reported from London and Schmidt from Bogotá, Colombia.